I have so much to talk about. Here I am. I hope everyone is enjoying their summer and having a great summer with lots of fun, making memories with those you love, spending time with family and friends, all that good stuff, enjoying the sun, taking some time to get outside. I have definitely been doing that. You can tell from my sun-kissed skin. I have been wearing my sunscreen, all organic of course, and I feel very grounded today. Last week I was on a roller coaster. This whole ride is a roller coaster, but last week was like the peak. It has been a while since I felt so out of control, and last week I spiraled, and I did a little post about that on Instagram. I haven't done a video in a while, but I have been posting regularly on my Instagram, kind of showing that I am living my life and enjoying myself and having parties and going out, not drinking, but definitely enjoying myself and having a good time with friends and people who support me and love me. So I've been enjoying my summer, and I've been looking cute the whole time while doing it, which makes me feel really great too. And I feel really healthy inside and out, and that is the truth. I haven't felt tired. I have big energy. I keep going back to this in all of my other videos too, that it's really the emotional aspect that really gets with you. It like gets into your heart, it gets into your head. The emotional aspect of having cancer is no joke. The physical part of what I'm doing, I feel amazing, and then I start to get in my head, and what I want to share is I have like some cliff notes here, and I've been journaling. Like you can see here, this whole book is full, and I have like all these pages. So, you know, I feel a book coming in the future to hopefully help educate and excite and inspire people about living their lives, believing in themselves, and answering their own fears in a way, and not relying on other people to give them the okay or tell them what needs to be done, whether it's health or any other reason that might be. And I have a lot of notes here that I've written in my time and my experience from my heart of how this journey is affecting me and what I'm learning from it. So emotionally, I don't want to get into that yet because it gets really heavy, but I do want to talk about signs from the universe. Number one is when I see that I am getting really down, or I feel like I'm getting down, or I start to question myself, or someone questions me and I don't always have like the proper response to their questions, because I can't always explain what is going on with me other than in my heart I feel something. In my heart I know. So I can't question what's myself and in my heart because I believe in myself so much. And actually today is a full moon, so this is the perfect time to do this video, because energetically I am putting my energy into the universe, into the full moon, and living my truth by sharing my honesty and my experience with all of you. But bringing it back to the universe and the messages, I continually get signs from God, signs from the universe. And something happened that I recognized this past week. I had the hardest week ever. Like, not ever, because I've had lots of hard weeks, but this felt like the hardest week. This felt like the tears would not stop coming. I was in the bathtub, I was crying. I was doing my Beamer session, I was crying. I just couldn't stop crying last week, like just releasing and letting it out, and having some doubts and some questions because I had a doctor's appointment last week, and everything is fine. So I want to preface that, but I am going to explain what happened in the doctor's appointment. But everything's great. I am healthy. I feel healthy. I look healthy. I'm a healthy weight. I am eating all the good stuff, all the greens, and I feel amazing. So energetically, from an internal standpoint, I'm awesome. It's the mental and emotional that keep getting to me here and there. And when that happens, I get these clear signs. So it was really evident for me. Like, I haven't shared something in a minute. I did my blog post about my celebration of life. I had a party dedicated to rainbows and sunshine, and just throwing myself a party over the summer solstice on June 23rd weekend. And it was really, really special, and I'll talk about that too. But I was on a high. I was riding this high from my event. All these people showed up for me. I had amazing people there, so thank you to any of you who are watching that came. I can't thank you enough for being in my life and showing support and coming and enjoying, you know, some healthy food and some of my modalities and learning, and I hope to do more of that. But I was riding this high from that event, and then I came down last week, and then I started to feel a little sorry for myself. So that is not a place that we want to stay. You never want to stay sorry for yourself too long. And one sign after last week that I got of all of the ups and downs and the downs was I was with my bestie, Lorraine, and we had a spontaneous night on Friday night, this past Friday, and we're sitting outside at a local restaurant here in Harbor Point, Stanford, where I live, on the water, and we're just sitting, talking, catching up, and she's been going through some stuff too, and we're trying to like be there for each other. And I had tears, and I was telling her, like, I don't know if I can keep going on. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm strong enough. Not everyone agrees with my methods. Not everyone understands me. The people I care about in my life, like some of my family, don't understand me. No one's talking to me. And I was starting to feel that. I was starting to feel the weight and starting to feel really lonely and feeling like I was by myself, even though I'm surrounded by amazing people, but I was feeling it, especially because of my family situation. So as I'm having this conversation with her, this amazing man who I know walks out of the restaurant, and I haven't seen him in a really long time, and he owns a local business, and it came really evident to me that people are cheering me on and supporting me even when they're not giving me the responses on Facebook or commenting or messaging me, but they're watching. And so thank you to everyone who is watching right now. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who is cheering me on through this journey. I appreciate you so much. And he came out and he goes, "Oh my gosh, Elisa." And I was so excited to see him, and I stood up and I gave him a hug. The only reason I'm not saying his name is because I didn't tell him I was doing this video, so I don't want to just like share our private moment with everyone, even though that's what I'm doing right now, but I'm not going to tell you who it was. And he just had a baby, and his family, and everything was so wonderful, and I'd been seeing that on social, so I was like, oh my gosh, how are you? Like, how's the baby? I'm so happy for you. How's your family? How's your wife? All the things. How's your business? Because he's growing, his business is growing. And then he stopped and he said to me, how are you? How's your health? And I had no idea that he even knew anything, because I had no idea he was watching, because he's never commented or liked anything. So I kind of like broke down with him, and I told him how I was feeling, and he told me that he was getting a clear message from God that I am going to be okay, and that I am strong, and that to keep on my journey, because I am going to achieve what I need to achieve. And in that moment, those were the words that I needed to hear, because I felt like they were an exact moment message. And he hugged me, and he said anything I needed, he was there, like anything at all. And to have that kind of support and like that message come through him, because he said specifically, I'm getting a message from God. And he goes to church and he prays, and I've been praying. And also, you know, my best friend Matty Anello, who passed away, he was very connected to God, and that felt I knew in my heart that felt like an affirmation to kind of let everything that had gotten to me over the week go, and honor myself, and remember that I am strong, and I am doing what's right for me, no matter who agrees or who doesn't agree. And it made me feel more empowered, and actually I surrendered a little bit, instead of like feeling like I needed to have control, and I needed to know my next steps, and I needed to know what I was doing. So I want to thank him for that, and I have thanked him, and I'll continue to thank him for that. But those little things continue to happen to me. and the support keeps showing up and the messages keep coming as I'm going. So I today again feel very grounded. It's the full moon. It is a pretty powerful time because Mercury is in retrograde too, so if you're feeling a little crazy, that is why. And it's in Capricorn today, and that's a pretty intense sign and intense energy, and I kind of like, I follow that. I have an astrologist / Reiki healer / intuitive healer, Lisa Salvatore, who, if you want any information on any of this, that's where you need to go, to her website, because she gives so many information, does videos on the full moons, and kind of directs what's happening in the sphere of life and how it affects us personally in our daily. So lisasalvatore.com. And this might be a longer video because I haven't shared in so long, but my doctor's appointment. So I had a doctor's appointment, an integrative oncologist doctor's appointment, because the last video I did, I had explained how I wasn't going to see my regular oncologist currently because she had called me the wrong name, and I didn't really like what she had to say to me, so I kind of like let her go. And that's okay, because this is a process and we have to find the doctors that really work for us. I have found an integrative oncologist who works for me, but she doesn't always like I don't always like what she says either. And that's true. Even though she believes in the same methods that I believe in, and she finds her formula of what she thinks might work for me, I still don't always like what she has to say, and I disagree. So that's kind of a trait of mine, and I think it's a strength. So I got all this blood work done. She did a liquid biopsy. A liquid biopsy actually can clear up whether there is cancer spreading, and there is no cancer spreading in my body. So yay, that is a positive, and that makes me so happy. So my cancer, my breast cancer, my triple negative breast cancer is still localized, still right here in this area. Her name is Patience. That's what I call her because I continue to have patience on this experience. And she got my blood work back, and according to her, there were signs of concern. And she used that word, and anybody who knows me knows that during this process I have taken out any fear-based language. So I say things like I'm healing instead of fighting. I am staying really positive during this experience. I find the good things rather than the bad things, and those are the things that I'm looking at. But the word concern was a trigger for me because it made me feel overwhelmed, and it made me feel like I am not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, even though in my heart I feel like I'm supposed to be doing exactly what I'm doing. So her using that word kind of threw me off, and then that's all I heard for the rest of the time. So I heard that she was concerned about my blood work, and the reason she was concerned about my blood work, and I have it all here, so let me just refer to my notes, is it showed that my red and my white blood cells, my hemoglobin, are a little bit lower than they were a month ago when she did my blood work. So when I got my blood work done about a month ago, everything was like perfect. You wouldn't even know that there was a problem in my system. Now that has changed a little bit, and my hemoglobin, my white blood cells, and my red blood cells are a little bit lower than the average of where she would like to see them. So that is cause for concern. Agreed that is cause for maybe a tweak in what I'm doing holistically to kind of change things up. But my body seems to be balanced and I feel good. So that's what I keep going on, is that I continue to feel good. I wouldn't even know that there was anything wrong with me if there wasn't for a lump. So also my vitamin D. So you can see that I have no problem absorbing vitamin D into my skin, and I take a vitamin D supplement, and I did a whole supplement video. Yes, I did a whole supplement video / blog a few weeks ago, and I take vitamin D, liquid vitamin D, K2. It's called Thorn. It's like the top vitamin D that you can take, and I'm taking lots of it. Like, I'm basically drinking a bottle a day, and for some reason my body chooses not to absorb vitamin D, so my vitamin D is very low, and that is a cause for concern because cancer doesn't thrive as well in a body that is high vitamin D, of absorbency in vitamin D. So my body is not absorbing it. So that's something we need to look at. And why isn't my body absorbing it? Because as you can tell, and I can tell, my skin is absorbing it, and I feel like I'm absorbing it because I feel all the summer feels that people feel in the summer, but I am not absorbing vitamin D. And then there was a few other things, like my zinc is low. She told me that she would recommend that I incorporate red meat back in my diet, which is hard for me to digest. Haha, like that is a pun intended, because it is a little hard for me to digest. I gave up red meat 13 years ago because it was hard for me to digest, and red meat, I wasn't able to go to the bathroom, and there was always some issues. So I let go of red meat and dairy, like milk products, in my diet about 13 years ago. So now she's telling me that I need to probably reincorporate grass-fed organic red meat back into my diet with all these vegetables, so that my body is getting a little bit more stamina and substance with the protein and the iron and the iodine. So I am working on that. I have not taken a bite of a burger yet. My burger will look like a piece of grass-fed red meat with a collard green wrap, maybe some mushrooms on top, a plop of guacamole, and I do love pickles, so I'll probably throw some pickles, maybe some olives on there, and some spinach, onions, something like that. So I will post something when I finally take my first bite of a red meat burger. But it's been hard for me to understand that my body's not working when I'm doing all these amazing things. But my body is working for me. I just have to continue to help it along. Also, she recommends things like milk thistle and mistletoe injections and more vitamin C treatments. And this is something that I've been struggling with, because I let go of my vitamin C treatments for the reason that I started to not feel so well. I was getting a really high dose, and my body was telling me that it didn't like the vitamin C and I needed to nap after, which is understandable when you're getting a lot of anything, whether it's chemo or vitamin C or mistletoe or milk thistle or any of the things that I'm doing. Your body needs some time to adjust, and your immune system needs time to adjust to whatever is external that's coming internal. So those were things that started to weigh heavy on me, because it felt like I need to reevaluate my situation, which makes sense because I'm 7 months in now. I'm 7 months in and I'm still here, and my cancer hasn't spread, so that is positive. Can I get a high five? Thank you. So now that's what kind of spiraled me last week. That's about it. Like, there was nothing really bad that she told me. She did say that she would like for me to talk to or find a regular oncologist who can continue doing my scans, who will communicate with her. So that I understand too, because she wants to observe me very closely, of course, because my diagnosis, in the statistical factual terms, is known as aggressive. And for me, I don't feel that aggressive is the right word. Eye-opening, awakening, definitely a journey, but under the medical term, my situation would be considered aggressive. So I don't feel that. Regardless, she would like for me to find an oncologist who will kind of watch and monitor me, but still communicate with her and will agree with the methods that I'm taking. And I don't disagree with that. Now that's just another thing that I have to do to find an oncologist that I believe in, who believes in me. Find an oncologist who will listen to me and be able to communicate to my integrative oncologist without trying to pressure chemotherapy or radiation on me and surgery, and try to find an oncologist who is just willing to do my scans, period, and just talk me through my scans. So that is the next step, and that became overwhelming for me because I cannot stand defending myself. I don't like it. It's not a good feeling to have to explain and defend myself to people that don't understand what I'm doing. And when people write me and they, tell me their experiences and then they tell me all the reasons I should do it the way that they did it, I don't do that. I haven't been doing that. I learned a major lesson in my family experience that I will never pressure anything on anybody ever again or tell anybody what they're doing is wrong, for the reason is I don't want to lose relationships over it, and it's not worth it. Like, there's no need to argue when someone has made up their mind and their heart, because what's in their heart is their truth, and that's what matters. So that's why things were so heavy. Also, all of these modalities cost so much money. I'm not joking. Like, insurance does not cover anything. American insurance basically doesn't cover anything anyway. I pay an arm and a leg. I am so much in debt right now. I've never been in debt my whole entire life. So this is weighing very heavy on me. I have never had I put myself through college so I wouldn't have student loans. I basically didn't even have credit or credit card debt until I came to the States, because finally I got a credit card because I got New View PR and I had a business and America thought I was great. That's funny, right? So regardless, I am in a little bit of debt now. And then all these other modalities come up and show up, and they all cost money. So like the vitamin C treatments and the mistletoe and my acupuncture and my meridian clearings and my therapy sessions and all of these, my Healing Oasis, who's amazing, who gives me free range, and Remedy Body Works for my infrared and my cryo. Thank you for you guys. And all these things really kind of weigh heavy, because I know that I need them for my health, and I know that I need them because I feel really good since I've been doing them. But now I'm getting to a point where I almost can't afford things. So that is weighing really heavy on me, and it kind of breaks my heart, because society doesn't recognize these modalities as medical, functional, healing modalities that can help and heal people, and they're not covered under insurance. So I'm really struggling with that right now, and emotionally that hit me last week. So that was a few things that I've been stressed about that made me spiral and made me like doubt myself and question myself. And then there was a couple of personal things that happened too, but there's no need to go into those. Those are for the book, I think. With that, I just wanted to say that when I got myself through the ups and the downs of last week, how I did that is I made a list of all the amazing wins of my week. So even though I was devastated because I felt like defeated and deflated and overwhelmed, I definitely made a list of all the great things. So I got to spend time with Lorraine. Last week we got to spend like a lot of time together. My work last week was so productive, and that made me so happy. And I have a lot of amazing things going on, giving back to Soundwaters and working with them on Harbor Fest, which is a huge event that gives back to keeping the ocean clean. And I'm out on the water all the time, and I'm documenting and I'm taking footage, and I'm really present in those moments. Buddy has been amazing, my little puppy dog. He literally is by my side and on my feet, and I'm spending a lot of time walking him, and I live on the water, so it just makes it so worth it, and life is so worth it. And truthfully, my biggest win is that when I feel my breast, because I take time, and I hope all you women out there take time to really nourish and feel yourselves and understand your bodies. But I felt that, and I feel that in my breast, my tumor patients is still there and occasionally fluctuates in size and stimulation depending on what I got going on, or if I ate something, or if it's inflamed or it reduces. But I have more beautiful breast tissue than I do anything negative in my breast, and that is the most beautiful thing, because as I feel around, like I know that my nipple and my breast area has not been affected. And that is beautiful, because the whole reason I'm keeping my breasts and the whole reason I'm not going through all of the treatment is because I don't want to be on hormones for the rest of my life. I don't want to lose my breasts. I am very attached to them and I love them deeply. I really do. I did a post on that got a lot of feedback and people loved it. And I couldn't imagine not being whole, like whole as a person in myself, physically and internally. So that is my biggest win, is that the cancer hasn't spread, and also that my breast is intact, and the area that is affected is over here near my heart. And you know, there's a really beautiful thing that my integrative oncologist gave me, and I did my own research on this too, but here's a list of all of the types of cancers and the emotional connection to the types of cancers and why emotionally you get these cancers. And for me, for my left breast, right over my heart, is conflict concerning childhood and conflict with a parent, mother. So that is really interesting to me, because that is kind of the root of this for me, and giving my genetic makeup and my history with my own mom, who I love so deeply. This kind of makes sense. It really makes sense, and I've been working through that in therapy, and that'll all be in the book too. The reason this video is so long, and I wanted to just give you as much detail as possible, is I was inspired by Chris Carr. So if you don't follow Chris Carr, I have all of her books. I do all of her juices. I make my own juices too, but she's an inspiration to me for the fact that she's been living with cancer for 16 years. Terminal cancer with numerous tumors in her body that she has put to sleep with her food and her lifestyle. So she did a video last week also while I was going through all this, because she had to get scans last week, and she had to drive up to Boston to like her specialist, and they had to do all these scans, and she had spiraled out of control too. And she had been starting to think like, oh my gosh, I have something in my arm, there's something wrong with me, like, oh my gosh, they're gonna tell me that the cancer is like alive and it's spreading. Like, she was thinking all these things, and she had put herself into a complete tailspin, and she did a video on it the same week that I was putting myself in a complete tailspin. So I thought that I should do a video too, so that I could kind of express myself and share what's been going on. So I know that was a half an hour. That is like basically a documentary. So thank you so much for watching, if you can get through it all. And I really appreciate you. And today my angel card of the day was birth. So birth is a pretty beautiful thing, and it means a lot of things. It means birth of a child. It also means birth of new inspiration. It means birth, rebirth, like you're going a different direction. And I hope that you all find your drive, purpose, and excitement in life, and you enjoy the summer and really cherish the moments that you have, because we only have today, and that's what's guaranteed. Thank you.